Everyone, my name is Diva Calista from Home Group 3. So today our group will presentate about the logical and statistical result, starting from the method that we use. The census method that we use, it is done by creating a type form that asks the entire class about their physiological statistical habits, which are the duration of sleep, weekly exercise, dietary intake, weight, height, gender, and age. We choose this approach because it was the most time efficient compared to the work being performed. And then next, the population of the census. It is done by the entire class of ICB B01, which is 30 males applicants and 13 female applicants, and also by the class lecturer. And then next, the data variables that we get from the census. The first one is the independent variable being the average sleeping time in hours. The second one is the independent variable being the weekly exercise time in day. And then the third data is the independent variable being the daily dietary consumption. And then the last one is the independent variable being the body weight in kilogram and height in centimeter, which all the data having the independent variable being the population of the class of ICB1 and the lecturer. Next, we're going to talk first about the average sleeping in time, which the data collected by using the form. So here's the data. We get like less than 5 hours for 9 people, and then 20 people choose 6 hour, 12 people choose 7 hour, and then 2 people choose above 8 hour. And here's the graphic for the amount sleep per day done by the 43%. From this result, the graph shown illustrates the average time of sleeping that is done by the 43 census samples. From the data collected, it can be seen that most of the students sleep for about 5 to 7 hours a day, and some of the students sleep for below 5 hours a day. Half of the samples sleep for 6 hours a day, and only 2 students that is only having sleep for more than 8 hours a day.
So next is weekly exercise time in day, the data collected by using form. So based on the data, the total respondent is 43. We can see that in exercise in a week that no exercise, the total frequency is 5. 1 to 2 days, the total frequency is 21. 3 to 4 days, the total frequency is 10. And finally, more than 5 days, the total frequency is 7. So based on the graph, we can see that the highest exercise in a week is 1 to 2 days, about 21 students. Next is 3 to 4 days. Third one is more than 5 days. And finally, no exercise. We can conclude that from the graph is that the graph is about how often we exercise in a week based on total of 43 respondents. As we can see that half of the students do exercise about 1 to 2 days in a week. Then some of students do exercise about 3 to 4 days in a week, and 5 students do exercise more than 5 days in a week. Finally, only 3 students who did not do exercise. Next is about dietary consumption. The data collected same using form. So there are two questions. First is that we eat snack. The answer is that 31 students say yes and 12 students say no. And the second question is about how daily eat per day. And the result is from the data is 1 student say once, 21 students say twice, 17 students say 3 times, and 4 students say more than 4 times. Next is, as we can see from the graph, the highest eat per day is twice a day. Next is 3 times a day. Next, the third one is more than 4 times a day. And finally, once. And as for the snack, the total yes is 72.1%, and as for no is 27.9%. We can conclude that from the graph that the chart shows that the majority of the members eat in any even 2 times every day, with 17 students having a meal 3 times a day. Just 4 students eat more than 4 times each day, and there's just a single student who just eats once per day. While the pie chart, given the fact that from 43 correspondents, 72.1% having a snack on daily basis, while the others 27.9 decide to not having one.
So now we are moving on to the data collected about the weight and height of every respondent. This is the weight data from both male and female. This is the graph shown and that were made from the data that we have been collected before. As you can see, the number of female and male weight distributions on every single range from below 50, 60 until 51 until 60 and so on. We have a conclusion that from the data and graph shown before, the distribution of body weight that has been carried out to 43 correspondents, the results are obtained that the body weight below 50 kilos, there are 7 women and 2 men, while body weight between 51 to 60, the number of females and males is the same, namely 5 respectively. At 80 kilos, there are 1 female and 8 male people, while at body weight 60 until 70, and above 80 kilos, there are only 1 men, with the number in a row are 8 and 6. This is the height data from both female and male also, and the graph with the total respondent of 43 people. 30 people of male and the rest are female. And from this height data, we can conclude that this distribution of height that has been carried out 43 correspondents, the results obtained are that there are only 2 women under 150 centimeter, while the height is between 151 until 160 centimeter. The number of female is 7 and male is 2. At 160 until 170 centimeter height, there are 4 female and 8 male, while at 171 until 180 and above 180 tall, there are only 1 man with 70 and 2 respectively. And this is the full census data. So the conclusion of all graphic data from the average time sleeping is from 43 samples that have been taken. Most of the respondents sleep within 6 until 7 hours, while there are only 2 people who have time sleeping more than 8 hours and 9 other people who sleep under 5 hours. And weekly exercise time, half of the respondents spend 1 until 2 days to do exercise. 10 people do exercise for 3 until 4 days, and 7 people who work out more than 5 days, while there are 5 respondents who claim didn't do any exercise at all. For dietary consumption, with 31 respondents claim that they are having snacks while the rest don't. Half of the sample takes meal twice in a day, while there are 7 people who eat for 3 times and 4 people who eat more than 4 times a day. But there is also a single person who only took a meal once in a day. And for the height and weight, around half of the male respondents are having 171 until 180 centimeter height, 3 people who are above it, while the rest are being around 150 and 170 centimeter. While from the 13 female respondents, half of them have 150 until 160 centimeter range of height. 4 people around 160 and 170, also the rest are below 150 centimeter. Mostly female weight are below 50 kilogram, while the half of the male respondents are having around 61 till 80 kilogram weight range. The related information from all graphic data result, including inductive and deductive reasoning. So for the inductive reasoning, basically we start with the data that we have been collected before, and then we make a conclusion of it. Before then, we tend to do the qualifier research. While the deductive, we start with a theory, and then we make an hypothesis of it before we get the full of that result of the observations. So the theory is, if we are having a well-scheduled sleeping time, it will have a good impact on our body, shifting our human body clock system with a combination of some exercises during a week could very possibly affect on our body height and weight. Of course, supported by dietary habits so that all the nutrition needed in our body can be fulfilled. The ideal sleeping time is around 7 until 9 hours per day, which means that half of the respondents are having a well-scheduled sleeping time. Good amount of exercises, 1 to 2 days per week, or can be more added into 3 until 4 days per week is enough. But the dietary consumption in a day are not that good because there are disproportion during the meal consumption in the day, and all of these factors affect on the growth for our body height and weight, which are all the data as already been mentioned before.